Okay, hi everyone. In this video, I want to show you how we can download and install MySQL. This has to do with the assignment that we have for Module 3. So in this video, I'm just going to show you how to download and install MySQL for Microsoft Windows. If you're running a Mac OS, then this video will not be of assistance to you. We only support Windows at UAB. Let us know if you have any issues with using Mac, and we'll try to get you some help. But the first thing I'm going to do here is I'm sharing my screen, and you can see that I'm on the home page for our 637 course. I'm going to go to assignments, and I'll go to module 3. And you'll notice there's a couple of links here. There's a link for our data set. You'll download that and do your normalization process that you learn in this module. The second link here is the MySQL download. So what we're going to do here, there is no purchase necessary. So if you see anything about having to buy MySQL, you don't have to buy it. Just click on the link and it'll take you to the downloads. Now, on this page, a couple things to note. You have a few different versions. I want you to download 8.0.42 for Microsoft Windows. And what we're going to do is click on this Go to Downloads page because these zip archives just contain all the binaries that you can use to compile. We're not doing that, so just click Go to Download. And I'm going to pick, well, we have our x86 32-bit download installer. Let's make sure we have the right one here. Yep. So we'll download the larger one here, 353.7 megabytes. I'll click download and you'll go to this page. Just click no thanks, just start my download. And it's going to start the download. It'll take just a few seconds. It's a pretty large file. So one note about the installation that I'm running here, I'm not going to install MySQL on my local Windows machine. I'm running a Windows environment that's virtualized. So the next steps I'm going to do is what I have to do to copy the installation file, the MSI, to that virtualized desktop. So if you're not running a virtual machine, if you're just running it on your local Windows machine, you can just watch these steps because this is what's necessary for a virtual machine. All right, so we are almost done here. All right, I'm going to open the downloads file folder. So now there's my MSI. I'm going to do a right click and copy. And I've got my virtual machine already running here. So on your local machine, all you would do is just kick off that install. But I'm going to run this. Just going to paste this into my downloads on my virtual machine. And now just like you have it in your downloads, I have it in mine. I'm going to run it just by double clicking. All right, and we'll just let the execution run. All right, and here we're going to do a full install. All the products, including the workbench. So there's everything that it's about to install. I'll pick execute and let it run through the process. You'll notice here the progress with each step. So it's installing the server right now. Now it's installing the workbench. And then we'll go shell, router, documentation, and samples. So we'll give this a moment. You may notice the architecture here. It looks like it's installing the 64-bit architecture for all of the server, workbench, shell, and router, and then the 32-bit for documentation and the samples. So, and that's fine. It's just how it identified the architecture that we're running. So we'll give this a moment to finish. If you'd like to see what's going on the back end, you can look at show details and see the logs that it's writing. So it's just running this. I'll pick hide and let it finish up. Okay, so we're done here. I'll pick next. And it says now we're ready to configure server, router, and samples. I'll pick next. And the config type is development computer. The protocols and the ports are all good as default. Pick next. And let's see, we'll use strong encryption and see what that gives us. And I'm going to give it a password. So this is the password for our root account. The account name is root, ROOT. Just remember what you typed in here because you'll need this to log into the account. And I'll pick next. And that's a name. So here we'll say configure as a service, and that's the service name. Standard system account is fine. Pick next. And grant full access to the user running the Windows service. Pick next. And now we're going to execute these steps. So we'll let it run. We're getting green check marks all the way, so that's good. All right, so we're all done. It was successful. We'll click Finish to continue. All right. And now looks like we still need to configure the router and the samples. So we'll just hit Finish here. Configuration not needed. And same thing here for the samples. Remember, we typed in our password. I'm just going to type in the password here to install the samples and pick check, and everything is good. Hit next and execute to install the samples. All right, so the samples are installed and we'll pick finish. So now everything is configured. We'll go next and everything is done. So what it's going to do is it's going to run the workbench and the shell after it's done. So this is the shell and the command prompt window. You likely won't need that. What you'll need is the workbench, because the workbench is what lets you interact with the database service itself. So you'll notice down here at the bottom, it's already set up a local instance running on this machine. So I'll pick this instance, type in my password, and I'm going to pick save password in the vault because this is not a super secure environment. So I won't have to type it in every time, and pick OK. All right, now this is the environment. So now you'll notice over on the left side, we have a navigator in the administrations tab. If you pick schemas, schemas will show you what databases you're working in. So you'll notice we have a sys database. That's our system database. It's the main database as we go into tables and views and store procs and things like that. You can navigate and see what's in there. Sequila and World are both the samples that we installed. So you can go in and see there's tables there. There's tables in the Sequila database. So you can go in and have a look at those. But at this point, we're ready to start working with our database. So what I'm going to do later on is I'm going to show you how we can create a database, how we can set up tables and relationships and things like that. So the purpose of this video was to show you how we download and install MySQL. So let me show you one more thing here. So if we go to File, Exit, and we close out, I'm going to close this shell and get back to my desktop. So if you come in and you want to get back into MySQL, you'll go to your Start button, you'll go find MySQL, and you'll pick MySQL Workbench. And that'll come back in, and then you'll pick the local instance. And if you saved your password, it should take you straight in, show you your schemas here. These are all of your databases. If you didn't save your password, it'll ask you to type in your password. You'll type in your password and you'll go straight to this setup. So hopefully that's been helpful, how we download and install MySQL. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. Thank you.